Hello, YouTube. This is Crypto Rookies, and today we are joined again by Jane, and we'll be talking about how to receive airdrop and get tokens so that you have a base of capital and doing it in a way that you don't have to risk your own capital, basically. So being useful, doing tasks for project and helping out project in order to get a free token in a sense. So hello, Jane.
Hi, Patrick. Yeah, I think that would be really interesting topic to cover, as there are some people that they want to have some extra revenue on their daily life, and I think that would be interesting topic to discuss and see the potential
Yeah,
of different projects and how it's possible to gain some extra money.
sounds good. So let's just define as a start what is the air. What it refers to is a lot of crypto projects, they have a token either in circulation or that will eventually be created and given out, distributed in the community. Our airdrop is just when the project decide to reward their early users with free token. In a sense, it's not always free, but it's that saying sometimes you don't have to risk your own capital and you can get free token from the project because you're early users, and sometimes you do beta testing of their technology or you're active in promoting their project, all kinds of stuff like that. So it's a good way to accumulate a little bit of capital before without having to risk your own money. And I think I would say on it varies, but some project give a few $100s, some project give several thousands of dollars. So in the past, the swap I was able to collect $10,000 when they did their airdrop. Yeah, it can be quite good in some case.
Yeah, but what do you think, what the usual type of work people usually do in the airdrop scene, and how you can actually gain the money of what type of work usually requires from the projects?
The thing for right now, for example, I'm beta testing on Venom network. So there's several 100,000 community member there, but they are planning an airdrop of their token. And there's a lot of other project built on top of the Venom because Venom is a layer 1 blockchain. And so you're beta testing the technology, and also just the mere fact of following their Twitter profile, joining the Telegram group, the Discord groups, it gives you the ability to mint NFT. And then the airdrop will be based on, it's not exactly described how it will be, but it's probably going to be a combination of how many of the NFT that you own and how much of the test token that you accumulated. And generally speaking, just the amount of work that you committed to be part of the early stage community before their full launch the public.
But for some airdrop, you would need to invest money. So it depends on the project, right?
Exactly. So Starknet, Layer 0, they claim that they are not planning to do airdrop, but as we'll see a little bit later, a lot of people are assuming they eventually will. And in order to have a chance based on past project, what they've done, in their case, they are a bridge between different blockchains. In this case, if you're transferring money from blockchain to blockchain, passing through their technology, people assume that this is what will qualify you for the airdrop if there's one. I think in some
Mhm.
cases of the project don't advertise that they will be doing airdrop. So you may still qualify and they might still be one, but you don't know necessarily upfront. So sometimes you just have to go on faith that there might be based on comparable project that launched previously.
Because I heard if you invest some money into some projects where they have airdrops, there might be transaction fees, right? That you will have to probably to pay.
In some cases, yes. So that's always a consideration. Right now, I'm active, for example, on FriendTech and a few other of the social fi projects. And in this case, in order to, people assume that there will be airdrops of the token when they launch, but in order to accumulate the points to be eligible for that, you have to put your own money and do some transaction and all that stuff, because that's what gives you the most points, basically.
And I heard there are many people that they're trying to not invest money, but to use the airdrop to see the future if they can receive some capital afterwards. But also there are some airdrops that are considered as a scams. So it's something I think really important to do a research of where you have to invest and what would be the right project where you can be confident that the work that you do, it's not just for nothing.
Yeah, but I think risking your time to get nothing, I would still do it. But the thing is that never use your main digital wallet where you actually have money on it to connect
Mhm.
to these new projects, especially if you don't fully trust them. Because yeah, there's a lot of scammers. There's projects that are scamming, but also there are just pure scammers who pretend to be legitimate projects. And on Twitter, of project constantly every day, but they are not the real project. They are just scammers who will create even a website that look like the real website. And then when you connect your digital wallet, they can siphon out your money. So the thing, always create an entirely new wallet when you want to do those things with project that you are not sure about. Is
Mhm.
very risky, yes.
Because I've seen that I Google it, and then there are some articles what are trendable airdrops for the current month, and I'm not sure if you really have to trust those websites that are collecting all this data information. Also, there are some bloggers in YouTube that they advise to invest your time or invest your money to this project to be part of the for the airdrop. And it's something like a bit confusing of who to trust
Yes.
better,
Yep.
which project will be more like reasonable to invest your time and money.
Yeah. I think the one thing is for sure, make sure that before you click any link, double check the URL most of the time. It's incorrect compared to the real legitimate project. And if you want to see where are the legitimate project, yeah, you can just Google it. Typically speaking, scam project will get flagged pretty quick. So the legitimate project should show up very early in the Google search. And I think if you go see their community and if you see that it's 10 people, then something is really fishy. It could happen if you're extremely early, but it's unlikely. Meanwhile, they might have a listing on CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap, even if they are pre-launch funds. And I think try to find the real official website and go check. And if there's no mention of airdrop on their website, in their news channel, and their Telegram or Discord group that you see on their website, then whatever airdrop link you saw is most likely a scam. So,
And how you would say to tackle the projects, the one that are just starting? Because I've seen many cases where the project itself was a good one. It was just the early stage. And then the people that came in early stages, they had more advantages. But then after a certain period of time, I don't know, it can happen in 6 months. I've seen the graphs that just booming with the amount of people. And I presume that you would have less possibilities compared to the people that are entered at the beginning. So how would that affect? Either you enter at the beginning and you might risk your time and maybe money, or you enter the ones that already have a high like potential and there are lots of people investing their time and money and it's just so you can be secure.
yeah, but if you have enough capital, you can bypass all those steps, to be honest. Time for me, like Venom, is just because I think it's a really good project. There's some issue, by the way, right now with the funders, so I would be a bit careful there. But at worst, I will have lost some of my time. I still think this project is interesting, so that's why I'm doing it regardless. Another project that is on my radar right now is Meld.finance. They are planning an airdrop. So in this case, it's a digital decentralized bank. But yeah, there's also lists where you can find other things. But I think a lot of the airdrop is that you have to commit money to make some transaction to get the reward. But so Meld.finance and Venom, you're not supposed to. It's just you're trading your time in those two cases.
Exactly. So it's probably if you have some capital to invest and just you will be okay to lose some money just to invest at the beginning. Because as I understood that they collect all those money for projects and they use it. So like within circulation.
But unless you buy into pre-sale, I would probably buy a project when they launch on an exchange. Because there's typically a pump and a dump. Unless the economic is really well done, I would be very afraid to buy very early on because people usually rush. And unless it's a fair launch or some, like a Dutch auction, things like that, be careful with a new project that is launching on the market. Sometimes it's just better to wait a little bit for the dust to settle.
So, and there's something I realized as well that some of the projects when you enter, they have already tokens, but there's some projects when you enter and there are no tokens yet. So it's like when you enter and you're waiting for the moment when they will release tokens. So is there a risk or it's totally fine that some of the projects, they haven't released token yet and why they do it this way? Or is it to know the logic behind for some projects that don't have tokens yet?
But I think to me, I prefer to participate in airdrop where the token has not launched yet. One being is that the price is not defined entirely yet, and you're very early and you're getting, in some case, the token for free. You don't want to do that with maybe 100 different projects, but a few. I still do it, especially when I believe in the project. And it's like, in some case, you get test token or NFT or some sort of IOU. So in most cases, it's relatively safe from that perspective that you'll get your reward later on. I've seen one cases, I forgot which exchange, but they did the airdrop, but the community member realized that the airdrop monetary value was so low that a lot of people are really unhappy that they felt that they lost their time because they were expecting a lot more for their time. So there's drawback from the project perspective of doing this. You need to make it rewarding enough that people are happy, but at the same time, it's really risky because if everybody that participates in an airdrop sell the minute that they have the token, you're creating sell pressure. So ideally, you want customers. So that's why Venom, in a sense, is doing it pretty well because I'm sure there's people who participate on the task just to get the airdrop, but some people are just there to test out the tech and the ecosystem and maybe planning to build technology on top of it too. So I think they'll get some real customers out of it too.
Yeah, I totally agree that there's a high risk that everyone, once the token is released, they're going to sell it away straight away. But is it possible like that projects that you want to invest, that they will have it economics to look at something to see if it's
Yeah.
reasonable even to enter that project?
Yeah, typically speaking, the tokenomics is available before you participate on the airdrop. Not always, but it's the case. What you sometimes don't know, for example, Uniswap, and I don't know the inner workings because I was not involved, but I got $10,000 of airdrop. I think I was expecting the price to go down because so many people were getting so much money, but it turned out that the price actually went up. Most likely it's because Swap was getting like private investors' money, and they use that money to buy back their own token from the market to prevent the price to collapse. Because this way, if the price is going up, then maybe you won't sell because you want to try to maximize how much money you get for your airdrop. So I think some project will have a cash reserve to make sure that the price doesn't crash entirely. At least the good project should have that.
But for example, when the project, they have released the token, so is it always tradable on exchanges that you can exchange to another tokens, or you can release the money from it?
Yeah, most of the time it should be at that point. It's not impossible to see some airdrop that have some vesting period to it, but typically speaking, it's a very small vesting. So I don't think you should be afraid of that part too much.
Okay, I think like from my part, we covered most of the questions that I had regarding the,
Okay.
and yeah, I think it's just something that you should try out, and depends how lucky you are being in the right moment in the right place.
Yeah. One thing I could mention before is that some project, even though they don't have a planned airdrop, if you're active in their community, whether it's Telegram or Discord, and you're helpful, testing the technology, maybe answering questions of people who come on the Telegram or Discord, you may get noticed. And at which point you're not getting paid for your time, but you're learning what the project is about while you're being helpful. And some project will take notice and they may reward you with tokens for free because you provided something of value to them. So it's not the typical airdrop, but you can still get token of project that don't have airdrop. And in a sense, then whether or not your time was worth it or not, that's open to discussion. But typically speaking, tokens of a project like this, it's not free for the project itself, but they have enough supply of it to give you a decent reward for as upside and to thank you for being an active community member. Because a lot of those community are more like decentralized, or they aim to be. So they're pretty happy when community members are active and being helpful to other members. And I've seen a lot of projects, they recruit programmers, they recruit marketers, or all kinds of people from the community. Because
Yeah, this is quite interesting topic on the way. I think that will be a main question of where to fund those early projects to see what are the potential, what are compared to other ones that at the same stage of early work of just getting the people and then seeing how in the future this project can go. Because I think that's really interesting topic of finding those projects at early stages and trying to help them, because some of them I think will be on a peak moment at some point.
yes, to me, it's not wasted time. Maybe you don't get paid at all, but at the same time, you're learning about the project, and then you can get more informed decision when they actually launch. Yeah, I think if you're short on capital to invest, and especially if you have skills of some sort that are valuable for a project like this, trading your time, even if you don't get paid short term, it may pay out in the future. And that's another thing you can consider is that it takes time to become a crypto influencer. But if you manage to get a crowd of 10,000 followers, 100,000 followers, you can start to get quite a lot of income from that. And the thing, you can do that just by being active in existing community and building your brand and your, like the thing, I don't think if you make a review of a project that you like and you go post it on that Telegram or Discord, and you can ask permission to be clear, but they're happy that you're doing a review of their project. And then their own customer base can come to your Twitter and you can grow your own follower. And eventually, months or years later, could actually become valuable enough that you can have enough income coming from this and being paid by projects at that point to promote them. Yeah, all of those things, you no longer need to ask permission to get a job. You can just do it. Don't expect payment upfront, but it will pay out in the long run. Think of it as it's tuition, but you don't have to pay for the tuition. It's just you're putting your time. But it's the same thing as going to school and building your skill set. And yeah,
So you would say one of the ways maybe to find those early stage projects, it's like, for example, in LinkedIn, there are some projects that are requiring some programmers from ITA or PR. So this is the way maybe to find like them at early stages.
Yeah, I've never done it like that, but it's possible. Meanwhile, you can just go to our partner curator.com, and yeah, that's a platform where tons of early stage project and late stage project are listed with analysts like us that are reviewing those projects. So it's saying if you want to find good projects that are early stage, that's a platform you can use to go find them. You can also find them on CoinGecko and Cap, but usually they're a little bit more advanced by the time they reach those platforms. So.
Yeah, actually, I was at the platform of Curator, and I think that is really good opportunity for people to see like a real analyst that they know about how system works and if we really can trust, because it's not only about giving the positive comments about the project, but also the honest one, so that people can be aware if there's something wrong or if something like where you can trust and fully integrate yourself to the project. So I think that's a really good start to look at the projects.
Exactly. And we'll put the link to Curator on the description. Another good source of early stage project is that if you're active in some community on Discord or Telegram about a specific project, once in a while, some other participant will talk about other projects. So it's another source. Just expand your network, and eventually some people will tell you about the new project that they've heard about from their own community. So the word, just get involved. All right. So next week, we'll start looking at how to analyze projects. I think it's probably the right time to look into this, because if we want to use my investment strategy, the one that I described last video, that I'm able to do about 10% per month, and it's relatively market neutral, we need to categorize project in loser category and winner category. And tokenomics is a large part of what I use to evaluate the project. So we can get started on the tokenomics, but that will probably take several videos because it's a big topic. Yeah, we can start looking into this.
Perfect. So I would probably just to take a look at the general meaning of economics, or just because I want to know which topic more or less I would need to explore.
Yeah, with maybe some brief overview about the various pieces, and then we'll start going more in depth in the various pieces.
So you would say that it's probably reasonable to put your time and effort to the airdrops, because this is something that I was looking for, maybe even to invest some money that I would be okay, even though it doesn't work.
It depends on your amount of capital. That I think if you want to invest $100,000 of your own money, because for you it's not that much money, maybe airdrop farming is just not the right approach because your time might be more valuable. But on the other hand, if you can only afford to invest $10, then I would say that maybe committing time to airdrop farming so you can have maybe a few $1,000s of capital, that might be more worth it for you. Depends on each individual situation.
Yeah, because that's really a tricky one, because I've seen some bloggers promoting, and you never know, because it might be a scam as well. Then they pretend, oh, I didn't know it happened, so it's not my fault, but they get money as well for the promoting.
Yeah, it's really hard to trust people in that industry, but it takes time. It's still, I think it's worth the effort of learning how to navigate the industry, regardless of the scam, simply because, it's the value of it is extreme and it's scale so it's hard to avoid. And anyway, we'll discuss more of that next week.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. That was I think was an interesting topic about airdrops.